We're going to start laying down on our bellies today. Downward facing Shavasana. And then just be comfortable here. So it might feel good to rest your head on something. If you're a little tight in the neck, you could make a pillow with your hands. You could use a blanket if you have one. Conversely, maybe it just feels good to rest on your forehead. Take your arms by your side. You can do cactus arms. So just play around, see where you want to be. And then let's lift our right leg up, stretch it back. Maybe even lift that hip bone up a little bit and then push it towards your heel, place it down. Inhale, left leg, stretch it out, get nice and long, place it down, and then just relax again. Take a nice deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Do that a couple more times. And so just kind of triggering this idea that you've landed on your mat. You're going to take the next hour to check in, get curious about your body, how things are feeling today. You're going to get curious about your breath. You're going to even it out, stretch it out. You're going to get curious about the headspace, what's going on today. And you're starting to find that rhythm of your Jai breath, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Length of the inhale, length of the exhale, really nice and even. Notice if any tension has crept into your shoulders, if those shoulder heads are popping up towards your ears, just soften them down. Maybe that means it's better for you to have your arms a little closer to the side of your body. And if you're on one cheek, turn to the other side here. Start to direct your tailbone towards your heels so you're getting a little more lengthening in your lower back. Couple more breaths. Just slowing everything down, soaking up these initial moments. It can be hard to do sometimes, but it usually feels really nice, especially as we do it more and more. Good, and then come onto your forehead. And go ahead and release your arms by your side if they're not there already. Palms facing down. So as you do that, really press into the floor. You're going to feel your shoulder heads lift a little bit, but keep resting on your forehead. You're going to anchor down into the tops of the feet. So even think spreading toes here a little bit, rolling a little bit to the outer edges of your feet. So you feel those inner thighs spiral up. This might be the tiniest little movement here as you inhale, anchoring into feet and hands. Head and chest extend forward, and your gaze is slightly forward. So sometimes we start to throw the chin back. Keep it even to the floor. Maybe it's even slightly tucked. Press the top of the thigh to the ceiling. And press those calves to the ceiling. Deep inhale. Exhale, lower. Good, we're going to do that again. So you're pressing into your feet, maybe even visualizing spreading your toes. It's hard to do. As you inhale, root down into the legs, into the palms, head and chest extend forward and up. And then start to squeeze your shoulder blades in towards each other a little bit. Begin to lift the arms up off the mat. So palms are still facing down. Breath smooth and steady. Exhale, lower. Breath or two here. Just let everything relax down. So not working the legs anymore. One more variation of this Shalabhasana here. Palms press into the mat. Shoulder heads begin to lift. Activate the legs. Spread toes. Roll to the outer edge of the foot. Inhale. Head and chest lift. Take an exhale. Inhale, arms lift. You might get just a centimeter more extension and lift in the front body. And then on your next inhale, maybe lift your legs up an inch or two. Doesn't have to be very big. Try to lift the front of your body and the back of your body, so chest and legs evenly. Good, legs come down. Take arms out wide like airplane wings. And then bend your elbows, fingertips come underneath your shoulder head. So we are in Bhujangasana, exhale, lower. Inhale up, generating the movement from your back. Exhale, lower down. A few more like that. Inhaling, lifting. Exhale, lower. Keep the elbow squeezing in. They love to wing out. Couple more, just moving with your breath. Nice chin. Good. On your next inhale, just hold. Maybe lift your hands up off the mat just a hair. That's going to tell you if you're pressing into your arms at all to find the back bend. So you might find that you come out of it a little bit. Then place the hands down. Fingers are spreading evenly, pressing to the tops of the feet. And then from here, we press to our tabletop position. And then just walk your hands back a little bit so that shoulders are over wrists. As you inhale, arch into your lumbar, coming into that cow stretch. As you exhale, press the mat away. Really get into the thoracic. Let the back of the neck lengthen down. Moving with your breath. Inhaling, finding that arch. Exhaling, rounding in. So finding this nice vinyasa as we begin to warm up the spine. Let this feel good. Get curious about what's going on in your spine. Let this movement feel really good. This is an excellent time to close your eyes if they're not already. Kind of just helps you to draw inward a little more. So when the eyes are open, we start to bring the outside world in. And they can be open, but just keep that gaze nice and soft so you don't attach to anything. You don't get too concerned about what everybody else is doing. On your next inhale, come back to a neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding. You can even feel your belly button pulling towards those back ribs, so you're feeling a little core support. Let's reach our right toes back, curl them under. So you're firming up that right thigh. It's in plank pose here. Begin to roll to the inner edge of that right foot. Come up on to your right fingertips, and then transfer the weight into that left arm. Maybe you start to extend your right arm up. Little modified Vashisthasana. See if you can find a little more length on that left side of your body. And then feel the shoulder blades release in towards each other, the center of your back. You could just stay here like this, maybe play with bringing your gaze up. Perhaps you start to spin that right palm to face forward, reach that arm up overhead. So feel that stretch from your fingertips through that right side of your body into the back edge of that right foot. Are you breathing? Inhaling, arch, or inhale, and then exhale. Good, inhale, extend that top arm up if you took that variation. As you exhale, you unwind, come back to your tabletop. So just check in, make sure that those shoulders are over your wrists, fingers spreading, pressing evenly. Good, reach those left toes back, curl them under on the mat. So fire up that left thigh, it's in plank pose. And then you begin to roll to the inner edge of that left foot. Good. And you can activate that leg too. Root down into that left palm. Start to stretch the right arm up. So shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other. Ginny and Laura, these look really, really nice. Find a little more length through the left side of your waist. Just envision yourself becoming a parallelogram. So the left side, right side, nice and even. Maybe challenge your gaze by looking up at your top thumb. Beautiful. And then finally, if you'd like to spin that left palm to face forward, and then reach that arm over. So go for lots of length through that left side of your body. Let it feel really good. Keep hips stacking and pressing up slightly towards the ceiling. Good. If you extended that arm up and overhead, just bring it back up so shoulders stacking on top of each other. As you exhale, you unwind. Very nice. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. Good. So really flatten down into the palm as you spread your fingers. Curl your toes under, shift your hips back, downward dog. And today, let's see if we can avoid fidgeting around. So typically when we come into our dog, there's these things, these habitual things that we like to do. Resist the urge to do it today. So maybe adjust your feet, make sure that they're hip distance apart. You can peek forward, see the same with your arms. If you are tighter in your shoulders, a nice little adjustment is to turn your fingertips out slightly. As you flatten that palm, start to squeeze the forearms in towards each other. Feel the upper arms begin to engage a little bit. So that inner arm wraps towards the outer arm. You start to get a little more widening across the backs of your shoulders. We don't want to overarch in our lumbar here or even in our thoracic. So if we tend to be a little more flexible, sometimes that happens. So you can think front ribs pressing towards back ribs. It's almost as though you're going to round. You're not going to. Good. And then from here, you're going to inhale, lift your right leg up. So three-legged dog, keep hips nice and even. So your right toes are pointing down. Good. As you exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale, pull back, three-legged dog. Good. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Pause here a moment, and then sneak that foot through. Walk that foot off to the right so you're not on a tightrope. And then find a little bend in that left knee so you can direct your tailbone down. As we inhale, we roll up, crescent pose, modified with that back knee bent. All right, and you're up on those left toes. You can firm back through that left heel. Take arms as wide as you need to here. And then we're gonna start to straighten both legs on the inhale. So nice deep inhale. You're gonna feel a little hamstring stretch in that back leg. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, belly pulls in to help you straighten both legs. Good, exhale in. One more. Inhale, press legs to straight, so a wide-legged pyramid pose. Exhale, lower. Okay, so nice deep bend in this right knee. Maybe you start to straighten that back leg. You're gonna feel this intense stretch on that hip flexor. So a little bend in the back knee is nice, especially if that helps you to release your tailbone down. And stretch your sternum up. Take your arms out wide. Deep inhale. As you exhale, think these left ribs wrapping to the right. And you don't have to go very far here, especially starting out. These twists are really intense. Are you rolling to the outer edge of your right foot? Press to the inner edge instead. Really nice. Good. As you inhale, square your torso to the front of the room. Reach both arms up. Maybe press palms, gaze up. Shine your sternum up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Okay, so we're going to try to keep our hips this low. So you're planting your palms, gaze forward, stretch your sternum forward. Sneak that right foot back. Deep inhale. Exhale, use your sit bones pulling up towards the ceiling to make your way into your downward facing dog. Very nice. Inhale, left leg lifts. So hips are square. They're both facing down. Toes are pointing down. Exhale, curl in knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen back. Good, exhale, curl in knee to nose. Pause here. And then step that foot through. Okay, so find a nice little bend in that right knee and walk your left foot off to the left. So we want to be on train tracks instead of a balance beam. Inhale, rise up. Crescent pose on the left side. Okay, so here we go. As we inhale, we start to straighten both legs. And you feel this scissoring action in your hips. Left hip back, right hip forward. Exhale, bend in. Inhale, nice and slow. A lot of muscles working here to help you move up. And then exhale, same thing as you bend both knees. Inhale, press to straight. And then exhale, we sink into our crescent pose. So you have this nice 90-degree bend in this left leg. Maybe you start to straighten that right leg. Maybe you don't. So you're on those toes. You're firming that right heel back. Bend or no. Dragging this right hip slightly forward as this left hip draws back. Press to the inner edge of that left foot already. As you exhale, release arms by side, have palms facing forward. Keep your hips this contained. Start to drag the right side of the waist to the left, and your gaze can track along. You might start to look out over that left thumb. And then just imagine that your hips are corn cobs and somebody is putting those, the corn cob holders. So you're squeezing in a lot. Feel that action. All right, as we inhale, we reach up, maybe press palms, feel a little lift of the heart, that back bend cobra sensation. Exhale, hands come to the mat. So fire up that back leg, keep hips this low, sneak that left foot back. Deep inhale. And then as you exhale, option to come to your knees or stay in your full plank. Come way forward on your toes. To count of 5, lower down onto your belly. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. As you inhale, you come into your low cobra. If you're ready for an upward facing dog, drag the hands back a lot. So wrists underneath the elbows. In both poses, elbows are squeezing in so we get that lift of the shoulder heads. As you inhale, press into your hands, press into the tops of your feet. Good, and if you're in your upward dog, take a little bend in your elbows and then squeeze them in a little more and then start to straighten your arms. So you might get a little more height in your chest. Beautiful, Laura. From here, you roll over your toes if you're in your up dog to your down dog. If you're in your low cobra, you press to tabletop and then make your way back. Deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth. Sigh the breath out. Ha. As you inhale, a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. And of your exhale, think light thoughts. So you can walk both feet slowly forward or step right foot forward, then left foot forward to meet it. As you inhale, so you could have fingertips on the floor here or hands on shins or thighs. So little standing cobra, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold in. Couple more like this. Inhale, shoulder blades squeeze in, shoulder heads lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet and into your shins to get that extension. Exhale, fold in, and then a little different today. So let's stretch our arms forward, keep a nice flat back. So forward and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. We start to flow a little bit. So release your arms by your side. Actually, release them by your side, but have your palms facing in, but keep that lift of your chest. And let's just play with stretching arms straight up today. It just feels a little different. As you exhale, hands can come down the midline and you release in to your forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Gaze comes forward. Weight is evenly distributed in your feet. Exhale, fold. Inhale again, stretch arms forward. Gaze up, palms press. Exhale, hands come down the midline. Couple more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold in. Good. Inhale, lengthen into your Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale into full Uttanasana. Inhale, stretching arms forward, weight evenly distributed in your feet, belly pulling in and up. Beautiful. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. You have 2 more, just flowing with your breath at your pace. Take your time, let these feel good. Maybe close your eyes. So explore your body. Find some grace, find this sense of ease. And notice the places where this is more challenging. How can you adjust? Does it mean a bend in your knees? Does it mean backing off a little bit? Good. And you're soaking up that sound of your breath. That Ujjayi breath. If you've lost it, you just start to find it again. Beautiful, ladies. When you're done with that second round, you're just pausing with your palms together at your heart. Noticing how you feel. Noticing the heat that you've created in your body. All right. So just release your arms by your side. And this time you can go ahead and allow palms to slightly turn out. And just notice how that feels a little different when they're than when they're spinning in. It's subtle, but there's a little more widening across the heart and chest. You might feel a little more lift of your sternum. This time as we inhale, let's take our arms out nice and wide. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep looking forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, step your right foot way back. Then your left foot, take an inhale here in your plank pose. So working all of the things, really pressing the backs of the legs up towards the ceiling, reaching back through your heels. Shift forward on toes here. So you can use your knees. We come to chaturanga, you hover or come all the way down. And if you're hovering, instead of rolling over your toes, I want you to straighten your arms with your toes curled under. So funky little upward facing dog. This is how much we want to work our legs. If you are in your low cobra, press the tabletop, pull back downward dog. If you were in that up dog, make your way back to your downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale back, three-legged dog. Good, exhale, shift forward, knee to nose, pause a moment, and then step that foot through. So again, make sure that you're not on a tightrope. Walk your right foot off to the right. Maybe a little bend in that back knee, especially if that helps you to feel like you're directing your tailbone down. Inhale. Rise up, crescent pose. So straightening that back leg any amount, but having a nice steep bend here in this right thigh. Good. As you exhale, arms come to the side. Palms are facing forward. Notice if your shoulders have started to scrunch up around your ears, just release them down. Twist just a hair. Press to the inner edge of your right foot and then start to hinge forward. Hand comes to the floor or a block. You could modify this by lowering your back knee. So nice little open twist here. Try to fill up on your inhale. Feel those shoulder blades stacking on top of each other. Good, when we're deep, inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. Okay, so a little different. You are gonna step your left foot to meet your right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest extends. Exhale, fold in. This time, as you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana chair pose. So you can have your feet hips distance apart. If that's the case, your knees are spreading apart too. If you like having your feet a little closer, you're welcome to do that as well. All right, so start to shift the weight into your right foot. Bend your left knee. Good, and then we're gonna start to straighten that right leg and left knee comes back. So it's like you're gonna stand on the wall behind you, keep directing your tailbone down, keep reaching up through that right arm. You're gonna do a back stroke with your left arm. You're gonna see if you can bring your thumb to the inside of your foot. So thumb is on that big toe. Hips continue to face forward here. Start to kick that left foot into your hand, maybe hinging forward at your waist a little bit. Breath smooth and steady. Press a little more to the inner edge of that right foot. Good, inhale, upright yourself. Stretch arms up. From here, as you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Good, exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left foot way back this time. And then your right foot, so here we are in our plank pose. Take a nice deep inhale here. Good, as you exhale, shift forward on toes, lower halfway. So again, if you are doing your up dog, keep the toes curled under and then straighten your arms, direct your tailbone back, push your shoulder heads back. If you're in low cobra, press to tabletop, curl toes under, downward facing dog. Good. As you inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale back, three-legged dog. Good, exhale, shift forward, knee to nose, and then step that foot through. Walk it off to the left so you're not on a tightrope. Fire up that back leg. You might keep a little bend in your knee. Inhale. Rise up, crescent pose. So you're directing your tailbone down. You're softening bottom ribs towards back ribs. Take your arms out wide here. Good. Start to twist a little bit to the left and then hinge forward, planting your right palm underneath your shoulder, maybe on a block. Perhaps you come onto that back knee. So arms are in Vashisthasana. They're stacking on top of each other. Nice work. These look really good. And again, you might be bringing your gaze up here. That left foot is going to want to wing off. That knee is going to want to wing off to the side. Squeeze it in. So you're pressing more to the inner edge of the foot. And you're breathing. It's hard to get a good inhale. Do your best. Good. When we're deep, inhale, fill up. Exhale, unwind, palms plant. We're going to step our right foot to meet our left foot at the top of the mat. Good. Inhale, chest lengthens. As you exhale, you fold in. Inhaling, knees bend, arms reach up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Good. And then we just start to lift our left knee up. So you're gonna, right knee up. So you're gonna feel that left leg really working and rooting. Press to the inner edge of that foot. Feel your belly pull in to start to upright yourself. And then, so just bring that right foot back behind you. So the shin is parallel to the floor. Good. And then backstroke this right arm. So thumb side is going to come to the inside of the foot if you can. Direct tailbone down. Good. Keep both shoulder heads facing forward. And then start to kick that right foot into your hand. Hinge forward at your waist. Resist the urge to open up. So keep that right hip spinning down. Natarajasana, dancer pose. Beautiful, Ginny. Good work, Laura. Falling out of these poses is good. It's how we refine them. All right, start to make your way out. Good. So stretch arms up overhead. Take an exhale, and then inhale, knees bend. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot back, then left foot, shift forward, lower halfway. So this time, classic upward dog if you're going there. Otherwise, you're on your belly and making your way into your low cobra or your upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so just go ahead and lower to your knees. Take a couple rounds of your cat-cow here. So shoulders over wrists. Inhaling, arching, shoulder heads. Press back, shoulder blades squeeze in. Exhale, round in. Really let the back of the neck lengthen and go. Couple more. So I want you to remember how this felt the first time around. Notice how it's different now. So we're starting to build a little heat in the body. Things start to open up. Sometimes it's really subtle. It counts. And that being said, some days it just feels like it's not happening. That's okay too. It counts. Okay. Inhale. Come back to your neutral spine. So we're going to revisit that little modified Vashisthasana with a twist if you choose to do that. So reach those right toes back, curl them under. That leg is in plank pose. It's really active and strong. And then feel your shoulder blades sliding down your back, your lower belly pulling in and up. Roll to the inner edge. of that right foot again. You're rooting down into that left palm, shoulders over wrist. Okay, start to open up here. Okay, and then just peek. You want to see that your left toes are intersecting that right arch. And then think of that shin just pressing down into the mat, so giving you a little stability. Lengthen a little bit more through that left side of your waist. Perhaps you stay here. Maybe you start to lift that right leg up. Flex the foot so your toes are pointing forward. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bend the knee. Good, and then let's do a little back stroke with that top arm. See if you can find the inside of the foot. And then kick that foot in to your hand. A super duper balance pose. If you are wobbling a lot, if you're falling out, you're doing it right. Okay, and we're gonna try not to slingshot out. So come out the way you came in. Unwind. Cleanse the palate, couple rounds of cat-cow, let it go, smile, laugh perhaps. Good, and then just taking your time, making your way back to your neutral spine. Belly pulling in, shoulders over wrists, so you want that stability there. Reach those left toes back, fire up that leg, and keep it that strong as you start to roll to the inner edge of that foot. And here, let's go ahead and check. Right toes are intersecting that left arch. Good, start to transfer the weight into that right arm. Find your modified Vashisthasana here. So shoulder blades stacking on top of each other. Lengthening through the right side of your waist, rolling those ribs up. Maybe you just stay here. This is a lovely place to be. Maybe you start to lift that left leg up, really firm down into that right shin to give you a little more stability. Flex the foot so your toes are pointing forward. It's like you're gonna stand on a wall behind you. Perhaps you stay here. Maybe you bend that knee. And then let's do a little backstroke. So thumb comes to the big toe, side of the foot. If you get it, kick it. Keep breathing. Laugh if your brain is saying all kinds of things like, what is happening to me right now? You're right to be saying that. Okay. Make your way out nice and slow. Unwind. Take a couple rounds of your cat-cow. Let's do that. Let's take a deep inhale. Open your mouth as you come into the cat stretch. Sigh the breath out. And then come back to your neutral spine. So you're neither arching nor rounding. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. Curl your toes under, pull yourself back, downward facing dog. And again, another deep inhale. Let the breath go as you exhale. Good. As you inhale, lift your right leg up. As you exhale, curl in knee to nose, hover there a moment, and then step that foot through. So make sure you're not on a tightrope. We're gonna come back into our crescent pose again, and then we're gonna transition this into our warrior two. So as you inhale, rise up, and then I want you to start to walk this right foot off to the left. Like take 2 steps there. Open up this back leg. These toes turn in a lot. So now we are heel to arch again. Arms reach up. Gaze out over your right fingertips. And then the thing that tends to happen here is that we start to hinge forward at our waist. So you want your waist facing in front of you. So you could imagine that somebody is pulling on that left wrist just to even you out a little bit. Keep your legs exactly like this in your warrior two. Very lightly reach down that back leg with your left hand. Right arm comes up and over. Reverse your warrior. Start to spin the ribs up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. And then from here, stay in this reverse warrior. Just one breath here. Start to press to the inner edge of that right foot. Bring that front leg to straight. So reverse triangle. As you exhale, find your reverse again. Keep legs really strong. Inhale, upright your torso. Warrior two. As you exhale, windmill arms up and over. Your choice here. You can step back to your downward dog if you're getting cooked. If you want to take a chaturanga vinyasa, you're welcome to. You could keep that right leg lifted, lower. Place the toes down before you come into your back bend. That is to protect the back. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Good. As you inhale, left leg lifts, hips stay even, toes point down. Exhale, shift your shoulders over your wrists, curl your knee into your nose. Stay there, and then look where you're going. Step that foot through. Walk it off to the left a hair so you're on train tracks. Strong legs, deep bend in that front knee. Come up into your crescent pose. So those back toes, right toes are curled under. Good. And then we're going to transition. So hands come to heart center. Start to walk your left foot to the right, a couple of inches. Open up that back leg. So left heel is intersecting your right arch. Find your warrior two and make sure that your stance is big enough. So we're getting this beautiful hip opener here on this left leg. Right hips are releasing down. And then again, just upright your torso a little bit so it's squaring to the direction it's facing. You might have to drag those left ribs forward a bit. Soft gaze out over those left fingertips. Soften the shoulders down, but keep the arms active. It actually makes it easier to hold them up like this. And then legs stay exactly the same. Nice and easy. Super light touch on that back leg. Reach those right fingertips down. Left arm comes up and over. You're wrapping these right ribs up towards the ceiling. Pressing a little to the inner edge of that left foot. Really find that from the muscles above that left knee. Inhale, reverse triangle. Good. And then bend that knee again as you exhale. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 2. As you exhale, windmill arms up and over. Choices, decisions, downward dog, plank pose, plank with that left leg lifted and active, lower. And then place those toes down. The back bend of your choice. Good. Pull back to downward dog. Take a nice deep inhale. Open your mouth. Sigh the breath out. Let it go. Ha. Quick little child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. So you've been working hard. Let everything slow down. Gonna add on a couple more poses to what we've been doing. But before we go there, a little break. Start to walk your hands off to the right so you're finding a little twist in your child's pose. So you're laying your belly out over that right thigh, spinning those left ribs down. This should feel really nice. Good, come back to center and then off to the left. So opposite ribs wrap towards that left thigh. So spinning the right ribs to the left. Breath smooth and steady. So as we build heat, as we move, as we're in hard poses, the breath starts to get a little ragged sometimes. So take these little mini breaks to refine it again. All right, we come back to center. Roll on up to your tabletop. Walk your hands forward. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and step your feet together at the center of your mat. So it's like you have one giant leg here. And before we come into this, we're going to come into another version of our Vashisthasana with the potential to take it into our natarajasana. So if you come here and you just want to hold your side plank, you're welcome to do that. You can also do the variation that we just did. But from here, shift forward in to your plank pose. We're going to roll to the outer edge of our right foot. So that leg is stacking on top here. And if this is challenging, you can always take that top leg in front and just hold this. So a few of us are gonna direct our tailbone towards our heels, lengthen through that right side of the waist, start to lift that left leg up. This is hard to do. Maybe you bend the knee. Good. Take a backstroke. See if you can bring the thumb to the inside of the foot. Kick it. Maybe fall out. I did earlier several times working on this pose. Come on out. Ooh. Unwind. Pull back. Downward facing dog. Deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth. Sigh the breath out. We have another opportunity to try that potentially. You need not go there. So we all can do different things. All right, so again, stepping your feet together, giant leg here. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. Root into that left palm, roll to the outer edge of the left foot. Maybe you just stay here like this, so building strength, it's a great pose. Maybe you use a little help, kickstand in front with that right leg. Maybe you direct your tailbone down, lift that right leg up, bend the foot. Okay, take a backstroke with that top arm. This is my hard side. See if you can bring the thumb side of the hand to the big toe. And if you've got it, kick it. You guys are like, what is happening? Okay, make your way out, unwind, beautiful. Pull back, downward dog. Good. And then inhale, shift forward into your plank pose. We're gonna lower onto our bellies. We're gonna go nice and slow. So exhale, 5, 4, nice, Laura. 3, 2, 1. Good work, Jen. Good work, CB. I know that you're still lowering because this is like your pose. The slow burn to the floor. All right, setting up for our Sphinx pose. Okay, so we've been doing nice amount of back bending. So we're gonna set up with our shoulders over our elbows, rooting down into the forearms, fingers spreading gently, pressing evenly, anchoring down into both hip bones, really firm them into the mat. You're anchoring down into the pubic bone as well. See if you can, it feels like you're gonna slide the mat back towards your heels. You might get a little more extension and lift. All right. So keep reaching back through that left leg. Bend the right knee. You just might stay here like this. This is a fantastic place to be. If you would like to, take that backstroke again. So thumb is coming to the inside of the foot. A little different than we sometimes do. And then go, notice how as you do that, this right hip starts to pop up off the mat. Release down. Good place to stay. All right. If you feel like you want to try this, root down into that left forearm and then press into the palm a bit. So you start to straighten that arm. It might not come all the way to straight. And then lift that left or right knee up off the mat as you kick that foot into your hand. Perhaps you start to walk those left fingertips forward. Maybe you stay here. Maybe lift that left leg up. And then maybe reach your left fingertips forward. So a little variation of natarajasana. Good. Slowly lower down. Find your Sphinx pose again. All right. So shoulders over elbows, rooting down into your forearms. Feel that openness across your heart and chest. Feet are about hips distance apart here. So sometimes they like to splay out. Bend your left knee. All right, so just being here for many of us is intense. You're feeling that big stretch on the front of the leg, the quadricep where we get really tight. So just be here. That's beautiful. If you would like to take that backstroke again, see if you can bring left thumb to the big toe. Good, and then lower those left hips down so they're pressing evenly with your right hip. Good, lengthen back through those right toes. Press into the palm, right palm, if that feels okay to do. And then maybe kick that left foot into the hand. So the knee, top of the leg start to lift a little bit. Walk left hands forward a little more. lift your right leg. Keep anchoring into your pubic bones. Keep squeezing those outer hips in. Maybe lift those right fingertips up. This is it. Deep inhale. Exhale. Release down. Make a pillow with your hands. Turn your cheek to one side. Start to waggle your hips back and forth. Good work. So little laying down version of dancer pose, which is really, really hard. And then I want you to very, very gently press up to your tabletop and do some really easy cat-cows just to help release out that lower back a little further. So inhaling, arching. Exhaling, rounding in. Couple more rounds. Okay. So next inhale, come back to a neutral spine. You're gonna cross your ankles behind you, rock back, and we're gonna come to seated. So we're gonna have a nice little hip opener here, and I'm gonna face you guys. So we're gonna come into our double pigeon today. So left leg is gonna come underneath. Right leg is gonna stack on top. So for a lot of us, this is really hard to do. So a couple options would be to simply cross that right shin in front. If you're close but not quite there and you have some props handy, so a lot of times this right knee doesn't wanna settle down, so you could rest on a block, maybe even 2 blocks. So kind of just giving yourself a little support and lift. The final option here too would be to come onto your back and then come into your reclining pigeon. Wherever you're at, reclining pigeon, using the blocks, classic fire log pose, you're flexing this right foot a lot. That's really important. And let's just go ahead and flex that left foot too. So it's like you're gonna stand on those feet. Good, root into your sit bones. Inhale, lengthen through the sides of your waist. So think all of that sensation that we've had in that dancer pose all along today. Then start to hinge forward at your hips. Keep this lift as opposed to rounding in. So if we round in, it appears that we can go deeper, but we're not getting that intense stretch. So maybe you don't go quite as far. You could always have your hands resting on blocks here. And as you start to make your way into this, as you begin to quiet your breath, so kind of letting go of that ujjayi breath, you're still inhaling and exhaling through your nose, just lengthening it out. It has less effort. So as you start to melt in, if you find that you're getting close-ish to the floor, you could always rest your forehead on a block. It's really nice and calming. You could stack fists on top of each other, rest your forehead there, maybe make a pillow with your arms. And then just in your mind's eye, envision where your bottom ribs are. Can you extend them forward a little more? And these hip stretches are so intense. I'm going to refrain from being the yoga teacher that tells you we store our emotions in our hips. I just don't know that there's any scientific evidence proving that. So I'm calling bullshit. Hips get tight though. We stand a lot, we sit a lot, we bike, we run, we do the things that make the hips tight. So we counter that with these stretches, but they're intense. It's uncomfortable to be in these poses that challenge us. So maybe you need to back out a little bit. Maybe you don't go quite as deep and you're okay with that. And you recognize that every time we practice, we get a little better, even if it's imperceptible to us. So just know that good things are happening. Couple more really nice breaths here. And then nice and slow, roll on out. Good, and then just give your legs A little stretch forward, little wiggle out, and we come to the other side. So the right leg is going to come on the bottom this time. Left shin stacks on top so you can see that fire log imagery. And again, maybe you need some proppage to help you. Maybe you're laying down on your back and you're just crossing that left ankle over your right thigh. Good. So feet are flexing, rooting into your sit bones, stretch arms up. And then again, think bottom rib extending forward. How far forward can you get that? Can you keep that natarajasana feeling? And then just let the hands fall where they may. You need not come in very deep at all. So more important to be feeling that stretch. And it's that fine line between good, intense stretch, but moving towards injuring ourselves or pushing too hard. So don't cross that line. Maybe don't even dance with it. Just back out a little bit. And then you're also observing, how does this side feel different? So especially in hips, there's usually one that is noticeably tighter than the other. There's a variety of reasons for that. Certainly not forcing this side to look like the other side if this is that challenging side for you. And returning to your breath, soaking up that sound. Being in the intensity of the pose, as uncomfortable as it may be. Good. As you inhale, start to make your way out here. Extend legs two straight. Good. And then let's just take a nice little forward fold here. So coming into Paschimottanasana, big hamstring stretch. This is a wonderful place to use a strap if you have one. A nice little variation too if you tend to be tighter in the back and the hamstrings, the back of the body. Take your feet about hip distance apart and then maybe a little bend in the knees. Stretch arms up. And then exhale, fold in. Thinking length, so trying to extend that bottom rib forward towards your toes, keeping that lift of your heart and chest. So it's like you're gonna just lay your torso down on your thighs. That may or may not happen. Keep those toes pointing up towards the ceiling so they're nice and active. And then finally, you can kind of let your chin start to tuck so you lengthen the back of the neck. Beautiful work. And then nice and slow, as you inhale, start to roll on up. And then you're gonna make your way onto your back. If you'd like to play, just kind of get into the core a little bit here. You can very slowly start to engage the belly a lot. Keep reaching arms forward. And slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. I just got to that plop place. Do better than I did. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. And we're going to come into our Shavasana here. So pretty big back bendy class. I actually suggest that rather than extending your legs to straight in Shavasana today, you take your feet wide, allow your knees to knock in towards each other. That's just going to help the lower back to release. And then take your arms by your side, palms facing up. Let those shoulder blades get heavy. In fact, you can even push into the back of your head, lift your shoulders, shoulder heads up off the mat, and then kind of snuggle them under. Kind of that feeling that we get when we're doing our bridge pose. Nice deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. And then melt in here, completely relax. So do a little scan, make sure you're not gripping. You worked really hard, now rest really hard. Just let everything kind of percolate around in your body. Shavasana. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Brush your thumb across your fingertips. And just start to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe stretch your arms up overhead. Good. And then hug the knees in. Roll to one side or the other, finding the fetal position and just pausing there a moment. Staying soft and quiet, eyes closed. Use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Checking in one final time and just noticing how you feel differently. What's shifted for you in the past hour. Just take a moment here to love the skin you're in. You're able to show up like this and work hard and challenge yourself and move and breathe. Promise yourself that you're going to carry this feeling with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Pile your hands on top of your heart, your very lifted heart. Gently start to bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today. Thank you, yogis.